This is A New Nigeria with Wale Oluwade. This is your current affairs program where we critically examine the strategic issues that bedevil Nigeria's developmental aspirations and boldly offer simple, practical, but audacious ideas on building the Nigeria of our collective desires. On today's episode of the program, I have a guest with whom we shall be reviewing the state of our dear nation, Nigeria. But before then, let me take a couple of minutes to give an update on the forthcoming September 21 Edo elections. I had promised to do an endorsement, but let me tweak that a bit. I might not go out to do an endorsement so as not to appear partisan. But here's what I will do. As you can see on your screens, when I did the first episode, when I analyzed the strength, the weaknesses of the two major candidates, that's Labour Party's Olumide Akpata and the PDP's Asue Ighodalo. I did that in bits, and then I cut the portions for each of them, and I put it on my YouTube platform, especially on my TikTok. And as you can see, the results on your screen. So far, in the past 1 month or thereabouts, the portion for Mr. Asue Ighodalo has garnered 31,200 views. 31,200 views. And the comments, the interactions, essentially from Edo citizens has been very robust. I mean, you can just go on my TikTok page and verify what I'm saying. In comparison, Mr. Olumide Akpata has garnered 1,500, views. Whether that is a glimpse or a pointer to how this election will play out, I cannot tell. I leave that to the voters of Edo State. My appeal to the president, my appeal to security agencies, please let Edo people choose their governor for the next election. That is all, Nigerians demand. That is what Edo people demand, and that is my appeal. Let Edo people decide and determine who becomes their next governor. Like I said, if pointers on both my YouTube platform and my TikTok platform is anything to go by, I think this election is already a slam dunk, for a particular candidate. But I would leave that, to Edo citizens, to determine. But I would say, in conclusion, that it is time, and not just time, it is better that political parties always put their best foot forward. Present your best candidate, for any elective position. That way, you make it easier, for voters to make, an informed decision. And that's my take on the Edo elections. September 21 is just around the corner. We'll wait and see. Now, that's that about that. So we'll take this short break, and when I return, we'll get right into our conversation for today. Please stay with me. Welcome back. Okay, my guest today is former Minister for Youth and Sport, Barrister Solomon Dalung. He was a one-time chairman of Langtang local government, a former academic. Not many people know him as a lawyer, and he taught law, actually, at the University of Jos before he became a comrade. Good afternoon, Comrade Minister.
Well, I was a comrade before going to the university.
Oh, interesting.
So I've always been. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, comrade. Good to see you again.
It's a pleasure.
And how is Nigeria treating you? How did you get fuel to get to the studio?
Well, I had to even stop on the way to buy red market because the
red market.
No, the black market is off. We're not in the red market.
Oh, wow.
So I had to buy red market to top up to get here.
Interesting. Okay, without much ado, we have limited time, comrade. The last time you and I met was like a couple of weeks before the End Bad Governance protest.
The protest, recorded a monumental success because in the history of Nigeria, we've been unable to record the number of people coming out across the country, right from the south to northwest, and from the southwest to the northeast. Nigerians turned out in their numbers to register, their protest against the current economic hardship and bad governance. The second success we had was that it exposed the hypocrisy and the manipulation of religion as a political tool to manipulate the youth population and dominate them perpetually. You saw what happened in Jos. And let me add that I did not only coordinated the protests in Jos, but I coordinated in the entire 19 northern states. But I decided to be more exemplary so that I don't ask people to come out to protest while I'll be hiding in Dubai or in the US. No. So I decided to lead by example. So it was a huge success. And the third success is that it exposed to Nigerians the truth of the state of leadership. Nigerians knew that the president is disconnected completely from the country because the president's speech was the highest achievement of the protest. It painted a very gruesome picture of how the president is completely disconnected to what is happening in Nigeria. And I said this with an informed position of somebody who has been in government, because it once happened while we were in government when President Buhari was to address security challenges. And he spoke as if he was coming from the moon, exactly what Tinubu did. And I confronted the president and realized that the president was not even fully briefed about the situation.
Let me even go further. As we speak here, comrade, some of the protesters are in detention. They're being prosecuted for crimes ranging from disturbance of public peace to as far as, or as grievous as terrorism or treason. Specifically that they want to impeach, they want to remove President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Comrade.
You see, why I'm very happy is that we would have not had this type of success without the protests. You see, the protests had justified some of us. We told Nigerians that we were being led by a blind man. They said, no. So we now said, okay, let's embark on a walk to the well. And
we are being led by
a blind man.
Blind.
Yes.
Okay.
So now Nigerians, when we said, oh, we are led by a blind man, they said, no, you like making noise, or you like... So we now organize a protest and say, okay, let's walk to a well. And the blind man has fallen into the well. So Nigerians now know, we wouldn't have known. Everybody has adjusted now. Otherwise, all of us would have fallen into the well together with him. That achievement can never be recorded except with protest. Back to, the huge trumped-up charges. The charges, again, expose the hypocrisy of the Nigerian political elite. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was protesting all his life. As late as 2014, he was on the streets. I considered that to him because he needed it to build his political career. But our great leaders in the Southwest were known for protests. Papa Tai Solomon went for a protest at 90, came back and passed on. But Tinubu was using protests to build a political machine. So now he has gotten to the peak of his career. He cannot even stand protests from small children who were 13. He's now charging them for treason. He's charging them for trying to overthrow a government. How can a protester who was holding a cardboard end bad governance is now being charged for an attempt to overthrow government? Those with the narrative of attempt to overthrow government are planning a coup. The government should investigate them, not those innocent Nigerians who are hungry. Because the people, Ojukwu said something, and I want to leave you with it here. Ojukwu was told during the Civil War that there were saboteurs in Biafra. And Ojukwu replied that those who were shouting that there were saboteurs in Biafra were the saboteurs themselves. So those with the coup narrative are the real people planning coup against our democracy. And they should wait for us, because we will roll out on the street should they make the mistake to truncate this democracy. Bola Ahmed Tinubu must be held accountable. He told us we should not sympathize with him. So no hypocrite in Tinubu's government should bail him. In the inaugural speech, he said, I look for this job, I got it, don't sympathize with him. That is what has emboldened me. That is what has strengthened me to fight, because the president said I should not sympathize with him. So nobody can be more cattle than the pot.
Interesting. there's a worrying dimension all of this is taking, especially from the government of the day. There's a creeping, very insidious dimension of abridgment of fundamental rights. Just this week, this week, the president of the NLC was arrested, even though he has since been released. Then at the same day, the DSS invaded the offices of SERAP, Socio-Economic Rights Advocacy Group, something like that, And journalists are routinely, arrested, passports seized. Well, what is going on?
President Bola Tinubu is like a chameleon. So he has brought his real colors. I've said this earlier that, associating with us in the struggle was just a stepping stone to where he was getting to, but he's not. His best, I think Nigeria now is facing a situation where Italy was in 1919 to 1921 under Benito Mussolini. This is exactly the system. The number of people that are
you're describing fascism. We're a democracy.
No. In fact, this is fascist democracy. This one is fascist democracy. The dictatorship and tyranny, the quantum and the magnitude in this government never existed even under military regime.
Are you
Abacha
sure?
didn't do this. Abacha didn't do what they're doing. You only, let me tell you, there are over 2,000 protesters, some of them less than 15, that are in detention. They were taken to the correctional facilities. They rejected them because of age. How can you take a 13-year-old child and charge him? Because he's not yet a youth. He's protected by the Young Persons and Children's Act.
Yeah.
You are detaining him and charging him for treason and terrorism. At that age, the psychological damage done to that child can never, be addressed easily. So you cannot tell me that the human rights records of this regime should be evaluated with democracy. No. We have to evaluate it with previous fascist regime. And I think when my mentor, Wole Soyinka, was referring to the obedient movement as fascist, he was actually making reference to this government, except that he's a man of who he can manipulate weight.
Comrade, let's leave that and switch to insecurity. I thought we had overcome the spate of killings on the plateau, but last week, if I'm not mistaken, there were a couple of villages. Marauders came there, and killed some people. But beyond the plateau, the insecurity situation seems to be rather getting worse. If reports are anything to go by. In Yobe State, you remember what happened last week? Terrorists, entered, a community, killed scores.
Over 100.
Over 100 in one day, in one fell swoop. In Kaduna, southern Kaduna, over the weekend, there is a village there that terrorists went there. They went to a school. When they found the school was empty, they went to the nearest, hospital. Took some of the patients, took some nurses, killed a few people. After how many trillions or billions of naira? What's going on, comrade, with insecurity?
We are already in what is referred to in philosophy as a state of anarchy. Where lawlessness.
Anomy, anarchy.
Yeah. Yes, where lawlessness now reigns supreme. There are voices of the unheard about this scenario of insecurity. And let me add those voices. In Kurfi in Katsina, a woman gave birth to twins, and the following day she was kidnapped. Her sister is pregnant. The bandits raped the sister in front of her daughter and husband and shot the husband and took her. As I'm talking to you now, they are with the bandits. In Niger, about 30 women, were kidnapped 3 months ago. They are still in captivity with the bandit. In Gobir, where their king was killed by the bandits, over 600 from statistics now, between when he was killed to now, had been taken into captivity. In Zamfara, where my adopted son is from around Zurmi, they are waiting for another attack where all of them will be taken into captivity because they pay 50 million weekly to the bandits. Now in Plateau, for us, it is more or less like the insecurity is like malaria. So we always buy anti-malaria to keep because it is coming off and on. The country is on a very rudderless direction that, I mean, Nigerians are getting tired even of praying because people have lost hope whether God actually is listening to us.
You know, you mentioned this, Mariki, it's a town in Zormi local government area of Zamfara State. You know, they are currently living in fear because this bandits kingpin, Bello Torji, has demanded, you know, for 30 million, 40 million, you know, protection fee, and he has given them a deadline. The deadline has passed. We have not sure whether he has carried out his threats. Comrade, the question is, what is going on? Is it, because don't forget last week, I think, before the president departed for China, you know, he had mandated the chief of defense and the chief of army to proceed, you know, to Sokoto State. And the essence of that was to ensure that they flush out, you know, this bandit kingpin. What's going on?
Well, the statement of the president cannot inspire or guarantee hope because, you see, our military and security services have been overstretched. And if you look at the drama that happened before the Chief of Defense Staff and the Minister of State moved to Sokoto, where about 3 armored carriers of the soldiers were burned by the bandits. And the bandits were laying claim to that, I mean, catch of arms. They seized catch of arms from the vehicle. And you see, as a guerrilla, the question I ask is that I know as a fact that a soldier everywhere will die before you can access his arm. So why would soldiers abandon a vehicle, stockpile with arms, catch of arms, for bandits to celebrate? You see, that is what is called Nigerian military comedy. But the military have come out to debunk, and soldiers have gone to the same site, have taken over the same site now, and are challenging the bandits to come. We are in part 2 of that comedy. Then we saw the Chief of Defense Staff launching in Sokoto with the Minister of State Defense.
Yeah.
Now the inspiration we drive, even I myself went live on TikTok, I mean, to commend them because we need to stand with our troops. You know, in all this, we must draw a distinction between the politicians and our troops.
Absolutely.
Our troops are putting their lives on the line. The question is, are they well equipped? That's question number 1. Question number 2, what is happening to their demography? Because every day they are depopulating, and we are not recruiting massively to fill the gap. Why terrorists celebrate in Nigeria is because we have not been able to reinforce our military with a massive recruitment to tally with our population.
Let's take a break, comrade. We'll take this short break, and when we return, we'll continue, or we'll wrap up with this conversation. Please stay with me. Welcome back, comrade. It's not it's a no-brainer. Nigeria is in very dire straits. I don't want us to use this brief period just to lament, as it were. I want you, you know, for the love of country, you know, we've focused in the last few minutes on the president, but you know there are governors, and the governors are responsible. Part of the failing of government in Nigeria essentially lies, you know, with the governors. And we can go into so many areas where they have failed. You know, their priorities are warped. You know, they have very wrong priorities. So, comrade.
What we agreed in Lancaster House was an autonomous federating unit and a loose center where the people are going to be part and parcel of their government. And the government will govern based on the peculiarity of the people. So that was why the regional government succeeded. Now today, we have now a canopy, the central government, that is provided as a backing center. And then you have autonomous federating units that are so powerful. They have the power of life and death. Because it's only the governor that signs that warrant. The president does not sign that warrant. But yet, there is no responsibility. So they are so irresponsible that they have no priorities. They now have succeeded in mobilizing people to be pointing at the center for blame game. So they are very quick in crying blue murder when it comes to asking them to provide security. They will tell you, I'm not the commander-in-chief. There are commander-in-chief all over, even under the Republican Constitution. There was a commander-in-chief, but the regional premier did not concede their responsibility to protect their people. But these ones are very, very good in collecting subvention, but they can point at the center and say, oh, the problem is the center.
Sorry to interrupt your thought. Please hold your thought. You know, I beg to differ that they have so much power, but they don't have responsibility. They have so much power, they have so much resources, but they have responsibilities.
Do you know why I said they don't have responsibility?
Sorry, comrade. You know, look at Governor of Zamfara building airports. Because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu removed fuel subsidy. There's so much money that has been increased in federal allocation to states. So much money going to the states. But where's the money? What are they doing with the money? Building airports. The FCA or NCA that licenses airports in Nigeria says there are over 20 airports in Nigeria that are lying idle. Waste. Can you explain to any rational person why Governor of Zamfara, the priority is to build an airport? Who is going to use the airports? So, Comrade Governor, don't give the governors a pass. They have so much responsibility. I mean, you have the exclusive list on the Constitution. You have concurrent list. They have residual list where they can, you know, do all sorts of things. Education, healthcare, you know, I mean, housing, you know, jobs. But these governors, I mean, you and I know, most Nigerians know, have gotten away with blue murder. Comrade Governor, in the next few minutes, 4 or 5 items of priority. Appeal to the conscience of both the president and the governors. Nigerians are dying, and time is going for this country. If we can still salvage whatever is left of this country, please, I beg you, comrade.
I will only concentrate on the president, but I will not want to waste this very positive energy of mine talking to the governor.
Please go ahead, sir.
You see, why they build airports is because they are not Nigerians. So they want to be sure that once there is an alarm, they can take out. So that's why every governor, in fact, very soon, they are going to build airports in their villages. Not airstrip. They will be building airports in their villages. So that once they hear, oh, end bad governance again, they will start like what they did in this last one. They don't need to come to Abuja. So that's why they do that. Now let me come back to the president. You see, the president must do the following things.
Okay.
The president should look for a credible Nigerian, and saddle him with the responsibility of dealing with hunger. Now, if you get a credible Nigerian who will head the distribution or the food security committee or committee, now all palliatives, money meant for purchase of palliatives should be given to this committee. Now the committee will go to the Southwest, buy from their local market, distribute to Nigerians, and also farm. Because if I were to be in such a position, that's what I will do. We'll get a farm there because it takes 3 months to produce.
Of course.
We produce something there, bring to our stores, go to the northeast, go to the northwest.
That's one, comrade.
Yeah?
That's one. So
Yes.
What's the next one?
The second thing that the president needs to do, the president needs to honestly come back and rejig his cabinet.
Okay, number 2.
The third thing the president needs to do, the president must, as an issue of necessity, come back and engage relevant stakeholders on the security of the country.
Okay.
Even without arms, if the stakeholders are committed, we can deal with the issue of insecurity. So he needs to get the stakeholders involved.
Number 3.
Number 4. Number 4, the president needs to hold a national Youth Summit,
Okay.
which he himself personally is not going there as a guest of honor. He must be involved.
Why?
He must be involved to talk to the young people
Why?
and listen to them. Because there is already, you see, a disparity.
A dichotomy.
A dichotomy, thank you very much. A dichotomy between his generation and the younger people. And the younger people are frustrated, and they are already they have tagged his generation as the people who don't like them. They hate them. So he needs to build that bridge.
Good. 5.
Number 5, the president needs to address the issue of youth empowerment, youth and women empowerment deliberately.
Okay.
Now, how will he do it? Get a woman. You see, when you send somebody with a message, send somebody who speaks their language. I mean, there are credible women in this country. The likes of Okonjo-Iweala, they're all Nigerians. Get
Obi Ezekwesi.
very good, very good. Those are. If you are called those ones and they refuse to come, call us, we'll go and beg them.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Tinubu, but we're talking about Nigerians now. Let's come and address the issue of Nigerians. Charge them with the responsibility of addressing the peculiarity of women. How do you empower them? Because if you put wealth in the hands of the women, it goes around the family.
Percolates.
Yes. So if the president just dedicate little funds in dealing with this issue, you will discover that the country will be stable. It will give him time now to concentrate on trying to realign.
If the president reaches out to you, you would take his call and you would take the offer to come into government.
Now, if the president invites me, I will go and listen to him. There is only one job that if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gives me, I will do, is to chair or be a member of a committee that will distribute food to Nigerians. That one I will accept.
To end hunger.
I will do that religiously and ensure that I give a serious fight so that we can put food
on the table
of Nigeria. That one I can do. But anything outside this, let him go and sort themselves.
God bless you, sir. Nice having you, Comrade Governor. Now, that's the interview today. I hope you, always having the comrade around is never a dull moment. Thank you for spending your time with me. Remember, like I always say, change requires action. Positive change requires positive action. Please follow me on my various social media handles, my TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter handles. Drop me your comments. I'd love to hear from you. And then I'll see you next time. Bye for now.